So, this is session 9 of, well, till the end of the season, I suppose. But we're getting on there. It's session 9 of season 2. So that is a long, long while ago that we started off in the Driftwood, doing our bit over there, which is pretty cool. But last time we had a rather bracing time at the theatre, where people were dying constantly, everyone just being blown apart, vampires trying to kill. One thing I wanted to go over before we started was 2 things, maybe 3. Number 1, have you guys thought of a hideout yet? Number 1. Number 2, have you thought of a name for your little crew? Number 3, it's been a week since those events. What have you guys been doing? Because in the aftermath, the vampires have basically gone to ground. They haven't really been doing very much. You haven't really heard very much. And according to Swan, this is probably normal. You know, they're not going to come back and try anything so quickly when this latest attempt has failed. So he's got his feelers out there, and he's instructed you to stay in the city and do what Blackcoats do: investigate. But you know, I'm assuming a few of you have gone and got yourself some lodging since then. So, what kind of a lair are we looking at for the crew?
So wait, real quick. Do we actually ever investigate anything, or do we just like show up and shit gets wrecked around us? Because I feel like it's the latter.
Yeah. Well, you will be when we're yes. This session basically will be you investigating shit. Yeah. So.
We tried our best.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about our hideout, we were talking about finding a place in the sewers with Rake's help that could be turned into kind of like a fortified bunker with access to a building up top, so that we could use the sewers to transport or come and leave as Blackcoats, and then conduct normal business out the actual like building. And I was wondering if it would have been possible. I just was wondering this earlier today. Mm-hmm. Would it have been possible with the Blackcoats' help to have that building we acquire be my old bar?
Okay.
Also, we should get paid for the previous job because we were hired by the mayoral candidate.
Number 1. Well, I'll get back to that in a minute. So hold that in your mind, because I'm answering 2 questions at once, and my mind can't do that. So, number 1, that is technically possible. The Blackcoats could go and get the Dawn Rise, or the Rising Dawn. What was it called?
The Dawn's Break.
Dawn's Break. So they could go and get the Dawn's Break, but it would have to be through back channels and things like that. You're not really likely to. Well, maybe in a week's time. Yeah. They would have to. You would owe a few favors, but the Blackcoats could go
already.
Yeah, but the Blackcoats could go and vacate the premises and say, it's government property. That's it. You're done, sort of a thing. But you have to remember, the bar is in a very public area. It's down on the docks near the sea of New Corinth.
I was wondering what there was like for as far as like sewer access, because like we were hoping to have our hideout underground.
So sewer access, not a lot. You are on the dock, so everything's flowing into the sea essentially. So not really a thing that can be done. Sewers and working modern sewers is mainly in the interior of the city. So you're looking at Anvane district, but where the library was around where the sewers are going to be. If you want to be over manhole sewers, things like that, I would say there are libraries, there are old Senate halls, there are warehouses, all sorts of places that are actually more. You don't want to be too conspicuous. This isn't a front. Do you know what I mean?
Old Senate house sounds fancy, or a library, similar to the first one.
I think like a nicer library. Like the bar, that was kind of like me hoping.
Right.
I didn't think it would really work the way we wanted to, and our base being more functional is more important than getting the bar back, because I can work at getting the bar back later. That is going to be a point that Sangren wants his goddamn bar back.
So a lair is Well, you know what I mean. Like a lair is a lair. It's a keyword in the name, you know. So a lair being front-facing in public isn't really, you know, it shouldn't really be a front. It should be somewhere where you retreat when the heat gets too hot. You can go there. And
that's why we were hoping to have like the underground, and then like a main entrance from a building up top that we could have like, you know, day-to-day business, and then like a secret entrance that takes us underground to the layer where we have our Blackcoat equipment and weapons, and then we can exit from that layer into the sewers directly, and then go to wherever pop up in and around town from the sewers.
Okay.
So we're not having to wander in and out of that place with our Blackcoat. It'll make it much harder for people to follow us.
Okay.
You know, like they seem to have been doing quite often prior.
All right. So I would say, let's think of somewhere else.
I was suggesting a brewery.
Yeah, a brewery sounds pretty aesthetic.
So that'll have large underground storage areas and stuff.
Okay, and what kind of area would you be wanting it to be in New Corinth? Would it be an affluent area or a...
No, we want it more rundown.
I think more middling at this point, because we've established relations with both the top and the bottom.
All right, fair.
So I think kind of middling, more of a middling district. You know,
so
maybe...
shall we say Anvain Port District? So the same district that the thingy was in, the library. But why don't we do it as like an old brewer's house that you can buy, like a warehouse with lots of underground storage and areas like that. But there's also like a little labyrinth underground, so you can knock walls through, things like that. And it does attach to the sewers. In terms of so we can do that most definitely, and it will be rather near. It's in a back street near the stadium, so the Anvain Blues. They actually play in a stadium like 100 or so yards away from the brewery house. And this is an old place. Yeah, this is an old place, so it doesn't really get frequented a lot. It's down a back alley. And the front of the brewery house used to be a pub, because that's where they'd advertise and sell the beers. But it looks like as the city has grown, it's sort of overgrown this area. Do you know what I mean? So like there was a nice long wide street before it at one stage from the front of the door. Now it's like a space of like 10 feet, you know, from the sheer brick wall of the next building to your front door, essentially.
So it's now a scary alleyway nobody goes into.
Yeah. So
nice.
when you're shown when you ask like Blackcoat Command if they can find anything for you, when you're shown around, the door's already ajar. There's rats in there. There's all sorts. The barrels everywhere. But
rats. Those are our guys.
Yeah, but the main dingy, it smells of dust. It's just a small Victorian style pub essentially, with no electricity or anything like that. They say to you that they can get it wired up or gas lit. It's up to you. But yeah, and down at the back you can see there's like a mini warehouse at the back that's full of beer that's long gone off, stale. And
still in the brewing vats.
Still in the brewing vats.
Nice.
But
I have use for those brewing vats.
Underneath the ground, there's one trapdoor heading down, and the Blackcoat does tell you that yes, we can expand that downstairs if you want, and we can make it not as conspicuous, so it's quite hard to get down there. In fact, he suggests building a brewing vat over the new hatch, so they'll fill this one in and build a new one. And down there is like a 300-foot square warehouse-style area that is fully ventilated to keep all the beer nice and fresh. But you can get all of that out, so you've got a fully ventilated space of around 300 feet that's just yours, just there. You can build walls and doors and do whatever you want with it downstairs. And you can knock through walls as well and build out, because, as long as they don't really mind if you undermine some of the fucking, nearby buildings, because they're all ramshackle anyway, so they don't really care. But yeah, it can be yours. It's free. They don't charge you for it. They can sign the deed over to you, so it'll be under the Brewers Inc. The Black Brewers. It'll be just called the Black Brewers. And as a little wink, because the one, they're not very imaginative, and two, So Black
Well, I
Brewery.
mean, the question is, if someone goes and looks this up in the town hall, are they going to say, "Hey, that's definitely the Blackcoats"?
Maybe. I mean, that's true. I mean, I would say no because like it's like a tiny little place. You know, they're not really gonna look at it. If you guys want to name it yourselves, you can do. So what kind
I've
of
already named it.
what was the
I've already
name?
named it in the chat. It's the Eve's Respite for the Dawn's Break.
Oh, where did you put that? I can't see it.
I do
No,
get
before
that
all my
name.
gifts.
Oh. So the Eve's Respite.
Yeah. Or like evenings, or like like the evening.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah, that's very
like a throwback to my old bar and a fuck you to the people who took it. I mean, I guess they bought it, but still.
The Evening's Respite Brewers Inc. BRB. All right.
Yep.
So, you've had a week, so I'm guessing you've paid a few guys to come in there and gut the place, and you start making changes. Let's say, in a week, a lot can get done, obviously, especially with the Blackcoats behind you. So what would you have done? We'll go with Filberto first, because I think he's got plans for a certain area. But are you guys taking his advice, the Blackcoats' advice, the rep, essentially, Swan's rep? Are you taking his advice that you should build one of the brewing vats over the hatch leading downstairs?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think.
All right.
Like, have it be able to be moved, easily enough to swing in and out, but nobody should be able to accidentally pop in.
So, Filberto, I'm going to ask you to do 3 mind checks, please. And you can use Savant and all the other things.
I have so many concerns, but that's already a lot of successes.
Oh boy.
That is fewer.
Oh
but
boy.
He's
Alright.
still got 4s.
Yep.
On that.
Yeah, it's 4s. Yep, it's fine. So, you actually managed to build. You get rid of all the other brewing vats, and you got a few that are running, but like the main one that's running is in the center of the room. And if you open the side of it, you can see that there is if you open it from the top, all you see is brewing beer, right? It's a huge vat. You can see it brewing beer, and it's just this rather large, copper ironclad, container.
Still. Or, yeah.
But if you open the side door, there's actually a side door that can only really be seen if you're really looking. And it has a little keyhole in it. You open it up, and there's actually a walkway into a glass tunnel, like a really small glass tunnel that leads to the hatch going downstairs. So when you go in, you can hear, you close it behind you, you can hear the beer all swirling all around you. And so anyone looking in just sees the beer. They don't see this little hatch that is in the middle, and this little it's almost like the eye of the storm. So if you go in there with the light, you can actually see the beer swirling around you and all that. It's like quite ethereal in there. But you can open the hatch and go in and so yeah, you have one of 3 massive vats now.
Nice.
This vat's literally the size of a fucking house. It's huge.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so you've managed to make this little almost glass corridor going from the doorway, sealed into the area where the hatch is.
Nice.
I mean, there were extra vats there, right? That Filiberto could take down into the depths to use the stills to make his concoctions.
Yeah, so
But because I just don't want him using I want to have the 3 upstairs being used for bar stuff, as a cover.
One thing you have seen downstairs is that at one end of that 300-foot square footage room downstairs, the doorway actually pulls apart on wheels down the middle. So you pull it back, and it leads to an underground mining shaft, which has a railroad in it, a miniature railroad in it, that runs to the beach. So it runs all the way down to the actual beach. And the way you get to the sewers is that there are several manhole covers and doorways in there that lead to the cisterns of the sewers. So yeah, it's pitch black in there, but you could easily block this off and have it down there, or have a car here or wherever. Not car, but you have horses here or whatever, and a swift getaway could be had. But yeah, it is. Doors are pretty thick. You know, nothing's really going to get through them. Huge explosives could do, but yeah, you're pretty certain you can. You know. So, Filberto, what have you been doing downstairs? And I'll let you do whatever, anything that you can feasibly do in a week. You can.
Yeah, sure. So I guess if there's a cart down there, would there be like a hand cart?
Yes.
Or if there isn't,
Yes.
I would make one because I don't want to keep horses or anything living down there.
No, there are like you know those train things where you handle up and the handle goes up and down and she's doing
that's
that.
a hand car.
Yeah,
that's exactly
hand
what
car.
I was
Yeah.
thinking. Hand cart. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a few of those.
Yeah. So I guess I'd be looking to acquire some Valkyrie and see if I can
Okay.
work out its chemical composition in such a way.
Okay, so you're setting up a
Basically
laboratory.
set up a whole lab for you downstairs,
Yeah.
right?
Right, are you going
setting
near?
up a meth lab.
Oh, so you're getting the lads to basically make a few like a few walls essentially.
Yeah.
So you can. All right, that's fine.
Preferably with some ventilation not connected to the rest of the building, i.e. preferably through that shaft.
Okay, so you can actually. There are several ventilation holes in the roof.
Yeah.
So you can actually build it directly under one of those if you want to.
Yeah, that would work.
So you've got your own little space down there, your own nook, where you can do all of your tinkering and stuff. Tobias has moved in as well, and his is right next to yours. So you've got like a.
Oh my!
I mean, you can't. I think that was the idea, wasn't it? You guys were saying as soon as you had your own place, he was getting kicked out of Arthak's place.
Well,
he wasn't saying
what
that.
What I was hoping to do was set him up where we fought that demon, that resurrected woman.
Yeah.
Set him up there. Get that running. Get that, set up pretty comfortably.
Out of the city.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Out of the city, close enough that we can get to him, talk to him, communicate with him, but also gives him that big concrete, bin,
Okay.
or like,
Interesting.
so that he can just blow shit up to his heart's content.
Okay.
And he's not near Filberto.
He would go along with that if you wanted him to do that. But okay, that's fine. How would you get a message to? Well, obviously, it's Arthak who's looking after him. So would you just send a letter to Arthak just saying, here's the address. I've sent the lads out. They're going to do exactly what Tobias wants.
I'd probably do that in person to, just because he's been doing me a lot of favors.
Okay. We'll come back to that in a minute then, and we'll do that as our first little scene. But we'll go with Dennis for now. So we have Filberto's fully set up, and he's happy. So, in fact, Filberto, you are with the Chamber Vigilance, are you not?
Yes.
Okay. So after a few days in your new little paradise, you do get a letter from the Chamber Vigilance, and they are giving you giving Sangun, you and Dennis updates on your friends' movements and where they are, and you do notice that Tobias has been moved to a compound outside of the city where he's setting up a new super lab, where you are. It's not too far away from where you, shall we say, have a farm, over there. So it's not too far away from that, as you saw in that episode where you nearly got all the kids killed because the demon got free. So you know where, and you know pretty much where everybody is. No one's seen Felix Autumn in a few days. They know he's alive because he's made appearances, like public appearances, but no one's really gotten to him to ask him any questions. And Havelock has gone to ground at his estate and hasn't moved. So both of them seem pretty terrified at the moment. But that's stuff you can relay to Sangun and Dennis when they get back. But we'll figure out what Dennis is doing now. So Dennis, what are you up to in your new lodgings here?
That's never really needed anything much from the layers because he was there early. But if the Blackcoats give him funding to do stuff, he would probably try to dig a very deep hole just to. Well, they gave him the funding, so he's gonna try it. Also, it seems like a good training area, and possibly he can get all the way to the Rata. So probably in the sewers, he's gonna use whatever funding they give him to make a big hole.
Wait, what is the hole for?
It's a training area because there's cement on all sides, and to go as deep as possible. Okay,
is this like a visual representation of Dennis's fear of himself? That he wants to put himself so far down there, so if he goes crazy, and starts fighting, he can do it down there rather than anywhere else.
No, it's because he finally found a wizard, and that's where he plans to do his magic training. Also, he hopes he might get all the way to dig down to where the Rata live. He's not thinking ahead that far, sadly, this time around.
Okay, so you have your
Might
own.
be subconscious though.
So you have a part of it sectioned off with a wall, and you there are armor racks and weapon racks all on the walls all around you, and there is a spiral staircase going down to the training area, which is like cement walls. There's a few cages there, so a few practice cages, things like that, dummies, different things that are there, and and there's also like a rudimentary intercom system which is set up between your room and Filberto's room, and presumably Sangurn's living quarters as well. 3 rooms have been set up upstairs, so in the actual pub itself. So your rooms up there have been sorted out, so you don't need to, you don't need to have, how do I put it? You don't need to have downstairs is your work area, upstairs is your living area, essentially. So they've been fully furnished. So, all right, we'll go with Sangurn then.
So I mean, like as far as downstairs is concerned, the main thing Sangurn wants to do is, make sure that the areas that have been set up for the other 2 aren't going to get everybody killed.
Yeah, they seem pretty. Sturdy.
I mean, I assume the Blackcoats are the other Blackcoats are a good part of why that's but he wants to set up like
Okay.
a proper. I mean, assuming Filiberto would make it just safe enough that it didn't kill his already dead ass.
I've got to say, Dennis,
No.
that picture is very optimistic for a week's work. So yeah, I get what you're going for.
I found.
I get what you're going for. So like
I mean, if we can't crane buses in and out of it, what are we even doing?
yeah. I can
But,
give you one that's
so-
like half the size of that circular room going downwards. That's fine. That's cool. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, carry on, Sangurn. Sorry.
No, you're good. Like the main thing he wants to have down there is an armory, so that they can, have the equipment they need and maintain the equipment they need.
Now, I have an idea. How about we put the armory nearer the main doors downstairs, and so that if Tobias needs to get you anything, he can get it through the, up there pretty quickly. He doesn't need to send copious amounts of ammunition and all sorts of shit through the pub.
Yeah.
Like where people are gonna see it. He can actually send it. He can get to the water, send it upstream, upriver, and it'll get to you. Sort of thing.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I want, that's what I figured is. Yeah, but yeah, so he can maintain all these different weapons that they've started to collect, and potentially modify some of the weapons slightly. He's probably not going to fuck around much with some of the crazier things, but
No.
But he might try to like put a silvered edge on his guitars and such like that.
Okay.
With Dennis's help, since Dennis is good at that. And like the other thing he would like to do is just furnish this bar a little bit, depending on what funding he can get, because we're still pretty broke, I think, unless we got paid.
The payment will be coming in this session. You need to go see Felix about that. But that all sounds cool. So downstairs, so what's been added is a room that attaches to the main large doors, through which there are a few portcullis doors as well. And that room is basically a loading up area for you to load up on the like having on the Normandy in Mass Effect, where you load up and then you get on the shuttle. Like the armory is right by where you leave to go and do your mission.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's you have Tobias. He basically finds different ways through the caverns to get to you, essentially. And there is one really, really easy way for him to get to. There is one cistern that runs from the main cistern port, which is where you are at in Anvain, all the way out into the boonies. And so he's setting up like a little train line there of things going there. In fact, Dennis, you do receive a written request from Tobias asking for some of your kids, if any of them can ride horses, because if so, then he'll give them a wagon, and they can take ammunition and guns and things to this place and then, take them to
No.
you rather than doing it the other way?
No, that's not happening. They're not getting in contact with Tobias.
Okay.
That is fair.
Uh,
I mean, I imagine
Dungeon Master
like,
trying to sow chaos there, but never mind.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine as long as the Blackcoats themselves, and I'd probably talk with Arthek about this, armoring some, the Blackcoats as a whole as well.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably send up some porters that are loyal to the Blackcoats to do that, so that it's not the children, and it's not some random people.
How far is it between where Tobias is based and us?
I'd say about a day's ride, maybe 2 days.
Okay. How much? You were saying a track, so I was suggesting how long is the track?
So the track runs from the underground area where you are all the way down to the beach. So all the way down to the sea, essentially, of the Black Glass Sea. When I say beach, I mean the sea is still like 300 meters away from where it comes out. But this is where things were pulled in from ships back in the day. But of course, the city overtook it. So so when you come out of that railway at the end, you can see there's loads of hand carts here. But above you, there's almost like piers, and like a huge metal piers extending out over the sea. And so the city is basically overtaken what it was originally meant to be holding. But and in the tunnel where the rail system goes down towards the beach, on the side of that there are several doors and nooks and crannies leading to the sewer system, one of which has been painted over in fluorescent paint, because that's the one that Tobias pointed to and was like, this is where I can get you weapons too. This is the easiest one for me to get to in the city. It's outside the city. I basically just send someone down here, and they can bring you shit straight away all the way down here. It's not a problem.
Fair enough.
So,
I was going to suggest we have a battery-operated train.
Yeah, could be done.
That would work. Probably a battery-operated would be easier than an electrical supply.
Wouldn't coal be the easiest to obtain in this universe?
It would
but you'd
be,
have to,
but very polluting.
have
So
to-
you can,
and we're underground, and we'd also have to be consistently shoveling coal into it.
I mean,
as it goes.
At the end of the day, are you guys planning on getting tons and tons and tons worth of stuff down here? I mean, I would assume it's like, Tobias has a new rifle for you, and he just
I figure it's not like an everyday thing. It's when he's got something new, or when as he'll periodically, maybe once a week, send some extra ammo for the for our particular weapons, like the rifle and my.
Honestly, couldn't we ask the people from the farm? We can just hide it in the fruit supplies, because the farm produces food, and the food could be coming to the bar. They could be selling pickles here or something.
That's fine. I mean,
he could just stuff the weapons between the carrots and the pickles.
The only
and
issue
they just would come with that.
I would combine the idea with the sewer system, because the street that the front door is on isn't really manageable as a business, which is why the pub closed in the first place. So
We're gonna be delivering pickles via sewers.
Yeah. I mean, no one else can see them.
You'd assume a service entrance regardless.
Yeah.
And this is they could still send us stuff, but also farms don't produce. Depending on what they're making, it's not necessarily shipments on a weekly basis. It's usually, during the harvests.
Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, while you have the kids sort of working it, this isn't like a giant 10-acre farm that has crop rotations, so there's producing year round and stuff coming out weekly.
I mean, the thing with farms is nobody actually forces you to harvest the stuff at once. You plant carrots and then you can harvest bit by bit, so you get the fresh stuff. And the other thing is, we just can choose to transport the food more often to as a cover-up for the weapon transports. It doesn't have to be super logical. Also, there is normal farmers working there as well, but the kids, I wouldn't let them transport the weapons.
Yeah.
But dispensable farmers who don't know what they're doing, why not?
But I mean, that's the thing, is the weapons aren't being transported directly into the city. They're not having to go through the gates and everything. They're basically being taken to this entrance to this underground sort of transport pathways and sent directly to us. So it's not like there's
sure.
like inspection routes underground.
Just
Right?
pay the farmers more so they don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
could've-
that just adds people to it that that aren't necessary. Like I mean, because
Yeah, that's true. We can just pick up the weapons ourselves then. But as the storyteller said, we do need to transport in all supplies through the sewers anyway, because apparently the street we're on wouldn't work for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is that the weapons aren't going to be getting inspected before they're underground. So having it being transported by this rail car or whatever system we have set up, battery powered carts, whatever, we don't need to disguise it once to get it if it's in there.
I meant to disguise it from the farmers.
But we don't need the farmers.
Yeah,
to transport it.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we can pick it up ourselves, true.
We don't need to pick it up ourselves either, is what I'm trying to say. We don't need the farmers. We don't need to pick it up ourselves. Because basically the stuff just needs to get to this one stash place, which we can have. Potentially, we could have Blackcoat porters, right? Porters that are related to the Blackcoats doing it, because the Blackcoats can also get some of the weapons and arms that we're getting.
Are we that high up in the hierarchy yet?
We don't need to be that high up because we can talk to Arthur and Swan.
Okay, that's just details, whatever.
Okay, so we've basically got our hideout, I would say, set up now. This is essentially a good place to launch off from. Sangun, you've gone to Arthak, and at his place he seems pretty not nervous, but he seems pretty put out, like he's not really himself. But like as you knock on the door, his butler does open up and lets you in.
Havelock brought a mixer bottle.
Yeah, okay.
Of like a rum to splurge a bit on it to help him, as a thank you.
Okay. So by this point, Tobias has moved out, and you just come to get to give him the seal of approval, sort of a thing. He's sitting in his front room, just his arms are on his knees, and he's just he's got like a glass of something. He's just swirling it around. He takes a little sip. He looks up and says, "Oh, how's it going?"
We're getting settled. Seems like we'll be ready to start operating more normally from here out. Good. Normal is on the books for us.
Good. Excellent. So, have you made any inroads and finding out what the hell's going on? That was a hell of a mess at the theatre the other night.
Nothing yet. I think, we're gonna have to. I might have to pay Havelock a visit and just see if he's got anything new.
Yeah. Where is he now? Do you even know where he is?
I assume in his estate. I mean, they know me there well enough that hopefully they'll let me through.
I mean,
see him.
Are you sure he's there?
Not sure, but I imagine if I, ask another favor of Swan.
Okay.
It's Sangren just sighs and chuckles, and then offers the bottle over to Arthak.
He takes it from you and just looks at you like, all right, thanks. Well, he has 3 or 4 estates in the city, so I don't know which one he'd be at.
Well, I'll find him eventually.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, this business has got me shaken, I just, vampires. I thought we were beyond this. I thought we'd finished with all this. But I guess, you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs, I suppose.
Yeah, well, We're a stubborn breed at the best of times.
He just nods and says,
And
so he offers you a glass of what he's just poured. I assume it's like a good whiskey or something. And he just says, so you don't know where he is?
you've been my mentor a long time. You know I wouldn't lie to you.
He nods and says, I know. And then he says, well, we may as well finish this bottle then, because I've got nothing on today.
I've got nothing better to do.
All right, cool.
You know, it'll be good to have a drink with you again.
All right, cool. So you guys,
Yeah.
you guys reminisce on old times, and you get his mood picks up quite a lot when, you know, he's drifting away from talking about work and the election and
apocalypses.
Yeah, apocalypses and things like that. Yeah, his mood seems to perk up quite a bit. But anyway, once you're back at the hideout, you hear the bubbling away of. If you go downstairs, you hear the bubbling away of Filberto in his room, and when you go downstairs, you can actually hear Dennis whacking away at a punching bag further downstairs. And so you know it's getting to be a pretty decent place. You know, Tobias has turned up. He's outfitted the armory for you, so he's got all sorts of things. You're eyeing that doorway, like Filberto's doorway, with suspicion, like because Tobias is here, but he doesn't know he's here yet.
Yeah, I've definitely been tempted on numerous occasions. You know, it's only been a week, even then, to put a bolt on the outside of that door and have it labeled, like, in case of Tobias locked door.
Yes. So,
Can I
so
secretly pick out some of the mechanisms of the lock?
I mean, if you think it's weird that a lock's been placed there, you can certainly override it. Try and override it.
I'll corrode some of the internal mechanism. I'll throw some acid on it.
Well, yeah. No. I mean, Sangun's going to know it's broken at that point, so it's up to you. Okay.
The lock isn't there. It's just a temptation, a strong temptation, but a temptation. He's mostly just when the armory's pretty far away from, he's over by the door, so he's just hoping that you're not hearing it.
That's quite funny.
Over the sound of. Over the sound of Dennis, pounding away.
So as you walk past one stage, Filberto, you just like flick corrosive acid onto it, and it just like burns through the door. Like, there you go. And you just, do you even open the door? Or you're just doing it out of spite, just because don't lock me out?
Spite.
Okay, you just walk away. Okay, just show me you can. Okay, all right. Dennis,
ruining his own doors.
A bit later on, we're going, and you're. I'm gonna place your character somewhere. So if you don't want to do this, feel free to tell me. But you're wandering through the city because you're going to go check up on the kids. Essentially, you're going to go head back to the farm and see how things are going, as is your wont to do. And as you're going through town, you're getting past. Kids bump into you all the time. Oh, sorry, mister. And then you've got like a piece of paper in your hand with a little bit of information on it. Normally, just the miller's shagging the daughter of things like that. General chit chat that they've heard, nothing of real consequence until one kid bumps into you and you look down, and it says HV at Bridgewood Pines. So that's HV at Bridgewood Pines.
Yeah, sounds like a place Dennis would go check out.
So, he's obviously spelt Bridgewood wrong, but is what it is.
Well, Dennis can't read anyway, so he would have to say it.
Oh, okay. So, as you're walking along the road, with these notes of paper that you're gonna ensure to give to Dennis, to give to Sangun or Filberto to read later.
For translation.
You cut into a side alley, just as you do. You know these alleys better than anyone. And all of a sudden, I need you to do a perception check for me, please.
I think that was just. Mind, I need to check how much that was. Oh, it's 6 now, so that should be pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's 4 are successes for me now, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay,
Is
so
it? I
3.
thought the actual stat had to be.
The actual
6 for
stat has
that.
to be 6, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Because my
No,
mind
no.
is 6. I don't have any perception itself.
Oh,
Okay.
aren't we
So,
fancy?
you're just aware of what's about to happen as it happens, but 2 guys grab you on either arm, and a bag is hurled over your head like a black bag, and then cinched up tight, like cinched up real tight. Almost happens in one motion, and you feel a very cold pressure at your neck, and somebody says, "Don't struggle, mate. Not here to hurt you. Just here to take you because there's somebody who wants to speak to you."
More polite ways to do that, don't you think?
We know what you are, mate, and we know what you're capable of. Treat it, look at it as a sign of respect. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So he ushers you to he turns you around on the spot and then ushers you, and you walk a few hundred yards. And he turns you around on the spot again, and then you walk a few thousand yards or a few hundred yards, and eventually you end up in what can only be described as a carriage with the hood still over your head. And
Dennis would probably know what's going on most of the time anyway, because
Yeah.
his thing is that he's partly blind anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean you know better than most, but like it's kind of I mean, I don't know if you've ever had this done to you, but it is kind of impossible, even if you know exact. I could be in my own house and someone does that to me, and I wouldn't know where I was. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Confuse him, etc.
Yeah, I completely on board the fact that you know things, but I can't let you be superhuman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not what would. So like you end up in a carriage, and you end up being pulled out of the carriage like about half an hour later, and eventually we'll skip forward in time to you are plonked into a chair, and you can hear the drip 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 of a cistern nearby, and your hands are tied behind you with chains, Feyerite chains. You know what it feels like to the touch, and so you're not moving at this point. Like you're literally, you know, your feet are tied, your ankles are tied to what they're like hooks in the ground, but with Feyerite as well. So you're not moving a muscle at this point. You're kind of worried because you know Feyerite is quite hard to come by, especially if it's in things like this. And eventually, the hood is pulled off of your head, and you see around you there are several men, all dressed in dusters, you know, in long dusters, but they've got like sailor tattoos and things like that, so they're obviously, you know, quite well off on the sea. And there is a man sitting in front of you. He's sitting on the chairs the one way round, so he's like folding his arms over the back of the chair as he's looking at you. And he turns around to one of those men who's like standing there quite nonchalantly, and he goes, "Now then, son, hands out your pockets. There's a good lad. We got the Dominion government paying us a visit today." And he looks at you, and he's got this like rather like podgy nose, but like quite aquiline features, receding hairline, slicked back, and one of his eyes is got a scar running across it, and it's white. And he leans forward and says, "Do you know who I am, son?"
I had to guess the 45th boss of the horrible bastards this week.
No. He looks quite disappointed, like he literally thought you would know who he was. No, no. Look at my face. Look at my face, son. Alright? Do you recognise it? And you can roll a perception check for me to see if you do.
Surely you want to roll deception.
This guy
Not very good.
This guy kind of looks like Clint O'Mal. And you know what he looks like because you drilled in between the eyes with a fucking rifle a few weeks ago. Or was it Filberto?
Filberto.
I was dead.
No,
that's
you
the guy who you shot with the rifle from the town.
Was it Clint O'Mal? No,
Yeah,
it was.
the main guy. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
The main
main villain.
necromancer that you shot when we were in
Oh yeah.
Deadwood.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, him.
Oh,
Oh shit.
Well,
does he have the eye scar that Filtrator would have given him?
Yes.
Oh god.
I thought he got blown up.
So,
Oh, we'll find out.
healing.
Or eaten by a
Oh
dragon. It was. I thought.
oh god,
I
now
thought it
I
was eaten by a
remember.
dragon.
You're the guy. You're the guy who went for the vampire lady.
He holds his finger up and says, "No, son, no, not me. We will get to that though. We'll get to that." And he unstoppers like a bottle and takes a swig from it. And he goes, "My name is Daedalus, son. All right, or Day to my friends. You can call me Day. You can call me Day. No problem there. All right. I'm not here to hurt you, yet. Just want a few questions answered. All right." You're saying nothing?
Yeah, go on, ask them then.
Okay.
Like, it's not like I can go anywhere.
Okay. He just shrugs and says, "Have you heard, son, of the Blackwater Syndicate?" And you would have heard of them, yes. They are a how do I put it? Very, very powerful. Think of the Mafia at the height of its power, but times that by 100 and make them pirates. And that's basically what the Blackwater Syndicate are. They are the main drug pushers, gun runners, criminal entity on the Black Glass Sea. They're very, very, very powerful.
They're pirates? They're like the main pirate honcho guys?
He shrugs and says, "Inasmuch as a dragon is also a lizard, yes." He says, Listen. I have a proposition for you, son. A proposition for you. I want to thank you, first of all. Alright? I would like to thank you for killing Felix Autumn and Lord Havelock, son. For me. I assume you're gonna accept my request anyway.
They're dead?
No, son, but I need them dead. Both of them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, that was easy. And he turns around to his men who are just like shrugging, like this guy's a fucking lunatic, you know, just like.
Hey, you're giving me a pretty simple deal. Either I walk out of here killing those two, or I am dead.
He says, "Well,
what am I supposed to be arguing with? Like I'm."
Good point.
Like there might be consequences for your actions later, but we'll see.
You wouldn't be the first of your kind that I've killed, son, or I'd killed far away from me without even having to lift a finger. You know, whether it be a vampire or a blackcoat makes no difference to me. And yes, I know who you are. I've been following your career with some interest since you killed my brother. And he just like takes another swig and says, "How'd he die, by the way?"
How'd he die? Pretty
Got blown up.
uneventful, honestly. He was a little bit too loud and the dragon ate him.
Yeah, sounds like my brother. And he takes another swig and goes, "Did you get the vampire cunt who was warping his mind?"
She died first. We threw a grenade at her.
Good lad. And he takes another swig. Says, "Do you want some of this, son?"
Yeah, sure.
He just like orders his man to come and he's like, "Hold your nose," and he just pours it down your throat essentially, so you can't reach it. And he goes, "There's a good lad," and put chest on your hairs, and sits back down again. And he says, "I need them both dead. All right. One of them's in league with a, shall we say, powerful coven of vampires, which I'm sure you've also come across after that mess in the theatre the other night."
Which one?
Either of them, son. Can't take any chances. Sure you understand?
What are the chances, though? I mean, I know it's not Havelock. They were the ones trying to assassinate him. So it's obviously the other guy.
Felix
Why the need
Autumn.
for secrecy?
But weren't you hired by such Felix Autumn to keep him safe, son?
Yeah, that's called a diversion.
Uh,
Trying to play me for a fool? Come on, man.
Seems he's pulled the wool over your eyes, son.
Which one?
Mr. Autumn. If he's got you running round after him, trying to keep him safe, and then he's gallivanting about with these vampires, regardless, son, regardless. I need
Why
him.
do I care? He's paying us.
Regardless, I need them both dead. Alright, within 3 days, if you will.
Okay, am I gonna get some prize for it?
No. But I do have an assurance for you. And he turns round to one of his men, he clicks his fingers. And he has the syringe. And it looks like it's a really gunky black residue inside of the syringe. And he says, now, son, you don't get to where I am in life without knowing who you're going into business with. Right? And I have a sense from you that you're a bit of an unknown entity. You do what you want when you want. You know what I'm saying? And as you just said to me, you don't really care what Felix Autumn does as long as he's paying you. Which makes you a fucking terrible Blackcoat, if you don't mind me saying. But no less than my brother was, to be fair. Anyway, he slams the syringe into your thigh and injects you. It hurts, but it doesn't really do any. You know, it stings like a normal syringe does. He takes it out. He says, that was a distilled version of something called the Reaper Plague. Something that's over in Duskfall, being prepared for the next great war that they want to start eventually. If both Felix and Havelock are not dead in 3 days, the plague will erupt from your body, son, causing untold deaths in New Corinth. But you yourself won't suffer any symptoms. You're a walking bomb, son. And the only person with the antidote is yours truly. Give me the heads of Autumn and give me the head of Havelock, and I'll give you that antidote. Do you understand?
So I'm gonna die in 3 days unless I get the antidote.
No, you misunderstand me, son. You're not going to die. Everybody around you is going to die. Everybody that you ever loved is going to die, or if you ever see them again. In 3 days.
Got it.
But you yourself, you'll linger on. You'll be fine.
Yeah, sure.
He says, right. Take the young man back to the carriage. I've had enough. And he stands up really slowly and stretches his back. He cups your chin with his finger and turns you up to meet his gaze. He goes, Daedalus Mal, you'll remember that, son. I have eyes all over this city. Your people aren't the only ones with a handle on the reins of power, shall we say? I'll be seeing you around. And the bag is thrown over your head again. And we will fast forward to when you're thrown out of the carriage at speed into a load of muck. You go sliding across the muck. And before you know it, there are several orphans pulling you to your feet and taking the bag off your head and patting you down. You alright, Mr. Dennis? You okay? You alright?
Nah, I'm completely fucked. Anyway, that's for later. So, maybe from the stuff for the previous sessions, we did have this meeting with the Rail Baron,
Yes,
plant,
you
which
did.
was in the name of Havelock. And
Yes.
I presume after we saved Havelock's life, it would be reasonable to ask him and the Baron for the meeting, actually.
That would be a good idea. Do you want to head back to your hideout to make those plans so we can do it all together?
Yeah, that would be the plan.
Okay, let's do that then. So, a rather muddy and dishevelled Dennis staggers in from upstairs, and he's rubbing his leg quite a bit. Seems, a bit agitated. What are you guys doing when he gets in?
I'm just gonna say, look what the cat dragged in. You look like shit, more so than usual.
I look like shit. Alberto, could you give me some poison?
What kind do you want? Do you want the lethal kind? Do you want the slowly dying kind?
Something that will kill a vampire after 2 days.
Yeah, sure. I can knock one of those up. How strong do you want it?
Sankern has been exercising, and is kind of like gets up.
Strong enough to kill something about 3 times me.
Fine.
I guess.
Yeah, I'll just pull out this ricin that I've got.
Yeah, you can do that.
Demon blood rice. Okay, demon blood mixed with ricin.
Dennis would take it into his pocket, and now, okay, you remember I started this whole mess with the Rail Baron before, and we kind of saved Havelock's life, so I guess he would go along with us pretending we work for him, and get this done. And you remember also when we were all the way back in Tombstone, they said that they have had some nice opium fields, so maybe we could get actually some sort of actual deal going with the Rail Baron, the opium, make opium fields, transport opium via train, actually get something done that's useful.
Yeah. Now, Dennis, I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but why do you need lethal vampire poison?
Might need to kill myself, but we'll see about that.
Wait.
Why?
What do you mean might need to see about that? Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Why are you covered in mud?
Okay, let's say it like this. I have received a certain ultimatum where I need to assassinate a certain 2 people, or I am spiked with a bomb.
Okay.
It's the brother of the necromancer guy we killed.
Okay.
So let's say this is some personal trouble. I will handle it myself because, let's say, if I fuck up, if you don't know, you probably won't be executed for it as well.
Well, I mean...
What you got yourself into, man?
I think it's as much your faggot's fault as mine.
Okay.
Again, the brother of the guy... Yeah, I know, but, if someone has to die, it's not gonna have to be all 3 of us. Maybe it's gonna have to be just me.
How about the 3 of us figure this out together? Because whoever's coming after you for anything to do with Clinto Mal or any of the other shit that we've all been through, unless it's something that you did separate from that.
Yeah.
If it's Clinto Mal's brother, he's gonna come after us one way or another.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's go to your master's apartment then.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Dennis, do you know... You seem to be rubbing your leg a lot. Mind if I take a look?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to pull out some gloves, because evidently, if you just told me you're a bomb,
It's some fancy plague that will explode and kill everyone in the vicinity in 3... I'm not talking anymore. We need to go to the one room in the city which is foolproof for listening in first.
Well, you're in our... Yeah, we're
in our base.
Yeah, you're fine down here.
Okay, then if that's known that it's as well guarded, so sure, I'd let myself be examined. But I don't think this is something that Filberto could fix otherwise, because the guy would probably know.
So, Filberto, when you're poking around the wound, do a perception check for me. In fact, no. Do a mind check. 2 of them.
I assume this will be with Savant.
Yeah, because you're
this would be medicine shit.
Scientifically testing things.
Yeah, so I'd also be pressuring Dennis to explain in detail what happened.
In detail, there is some sort of giant pirate organization which belongs to the brother of the guy we killed. He says he's actually grateful for it, but honestly, from the whole deal, it doesn't seem too nice. And I need to assassinate both mayoral candidates, or I'm gonna become a bomb spreading an uncurable plague to the entire nation.
Okay. So, alright. He wants to get rid of Like, what is the organization?
What were they called again? The
The Blackwater Syndicate.
The Blackwater Syndicate.
And they wanted to. The reason why he wants you to get rid of them because he's not sure which one of them is in league with the vampires, so he's just electing to get rid of them both. Apparently, it would be bad for business if New Corinth went into the hands of a vampire coven. Who would have thought? There you go.
Wouldn't the vampire coven already exist anyway?
It does, but like, if a vampire coven got a hold of New Corinth is basically the heart of the Dominion. If a Duskfall coven got a hold of it, they could literally they could literally just tear the heart out of the Dominion without even fighting a war.
What a patriot!
So, all right. Well, either way, we were already trying to figure out what was going on with these vampires, right?
Yeah. Filberto,
and deal with them.
Just on that check.
Yeah.
As you're poking around, you get a whiff of this, and you're thinking, it can't be. You studied a plague like this. It was like in your training. It was what's the word? A myth almost. It's almost like the Rosetta Stone of viruses. If Blackwater have made something, if Blackwater have got a hold of something like this, and it's from Duskfall, the next Great War, the Dominion could be in serious, serious trouble. Like if this is a thing that they now have because the Reaper Plague is incurable, it is virally spread, and it has a ridiculous transmission rate. It goes from person to person. It can even go from animal to animal, so livestock can get it as well. So, anywhere Dennis goes, even if he takes himself out into the boonies, he'd probably kill all of the Dominion's livestock. Basically, wherever he goes.
What about that fancy pit he built?
I should go on a summer trip to visit a certain island across the sea then.
That would be something you could do, if you could get there.
I mean,
that sounds like the best solution to the problem. I just go on a summer trip and gonna destroy the elimination.
Just never come back. Just like,
I mean, he can come back afterwards.
They have the cure there.
That's true.
That's how the
Theoretically,
Blackwater people
assuming there is a cure.
Wait,
they have the cure. They told me there is the cure, and they will give
He
it.
could have been lying.
Yeah.
So, still the best option is to go to the Fancy Island Nation, because the Blackwood's gonna kill me if they find out anyway.
Couldn't we just schedule a trip to Duskfall and get this over with?
Yeah, let's just go on vacation to Duskfall for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Let's say we're investigating their vampire coven's origins there. Oh, and you're staying because you're gonna die as well.
How long would a virus stay alive if it had no access to anything other than Dennis?
So if Dennis dies, the virus dies, essentially.
Yeah. But I mean, if Dennis was, for instance, put into his hole, the hole was sealed up, and he was left with enough blood to get him through a couple of weeks.
If he's breathing, it's going to spread. Essentially.
Yeah, basically an eternal. I'd be just a carrier, I guess.
It's going to spread. Anybody within a few hundred meters, eventually.
Would it eventually get out of his system?
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. How long would it take to get out of his system if he had zero contact?
You don't know. You're asking things that. I mean, it took our modern world to figure this shit out with COVID fucking year. So, you're asking things that you simply do not know the answers to. One thing I can tell you is the Duskfall idea. It takes you about 2 weeks to get to Duskfall from here by sea.
Okay, so we'd be on a boat. We'd be on a ghost ship before.
Yeah.
Unless Dennis can pilot a ship across the sea by himself.
Probably not.
Yeah. Probably
Especially not the Black Sea.
It's a very good idea, and I did think of when I just going behind the scenes for a minute when I was writing it up. I did think, maybe that'd be pretty cool. We could do like a little side thing. Then I was like, actually, looking at the map, it doesn't work out. Like I can't, there's no way I can do it because Dennis would have to get on like a man of war himself, just like fucking, the ocean-going ship and just man it himself all the way there.
He just needs to learn to teleport. It'll be fine.
The other option
become a high vampire.
How long did it take to go to the wastelands with the black train?
That was about a week.
That's still
by train.
Longer.
And if you're on train and you're carrying, you're then going to spread it to like everybody.
It's a super spreader event, so yeah, the smartest
Okay.
option for the Empire is just to off Dennis. Part of the reason why I didn't want to tell the other two.
Yeah. So Sangren is gonna like just kind of put up a hand up, like, okay, we're not gonna tell anybody yet. If you have to, then we can find that. But I don't trust this guy. I think we need to find him, and if he has an antidote, get it from him. And I don't think that, and I do think that we do still need to find Havelock and Autumn.
And work out what the hell's going on.
Would I be able to maybe use my vampire senses to try to smell out the guy?
In a city? I mean...
Would you remember what he smelled like?
I'd let you try.
He could try to trail himself. He could try to trail himself back.
I'd let you try, but I'm telling you now, you're going to need to do all 6s to get it, but I'll let you try. Because you're in a city. I mean, it's the scents are that intermingled here, and at the end of the day, he is just a normal guy. It's not like his scent is like...
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think that our first step, if we get Swan involved in finding this guy, because if he's here, especially with his relation to our recently departed necromancer, I think we can get them finding this guy and potentially getting the antidote.
Swan is not a bad guy, and I know that better than anyone. But if you tell Swan,
I'm not telling him. I'm not telling him about the plague. I'm telling him that this person's in town and is.
And what if he finds him first? Do you think he won't ask him about the plague, or about interrogating him?
I mean, that's the thing is, if he's got the antidote, then the situation's resolved. But if we don't, we need help to find him in the first place.
Okay, so as you guys are debating this, you actually do get a knock at the hatch from upstairs, and it is a runner with a note that seems to be from Swan. And
speak with the devil.
who takes it? Who takes it to read it?
I'll read it.
Okie dokie. So you head upstairs and.
Oh, I mean, I mean, is this guy like a Blackcoat runner? Or no, they would have come from the other way. I don't know.
He's just a normal runner. So Swan's just giving him a letter to get to you. Essentially, it's sealed.
I imagine we've got some sort of bell they can ring.
Yes. Like a buzzer.
So they're not actually coming to the hatch.
So I'll read it out for people who are watching and are too lazy to read it.
Interesting.
I hope your new lodgings are to your tastes. We have received through our channels a request that you meet with Lord Havelock at his estate in Bridgewood Pines. It is a suburb, so head there and see what you can glean from him. At least one of the runners for this election is in league with Duskfall. I would know who that is before they were able to seize power. Should New Corinth become open to Duskfall infiltration for even a moment, the heart could be ripped out from the Dominion. You are not to let that happen. Find us a target. The Chamber Terminers will hit it. Yours, Erasmus Swan.
Intriguing. Very intriguing.
Well, let's go to the
gives
meeting.
That gives us one start. I'm going to say right now, I do not believe that it is Havelock from the situation with the vampires and such. I do believe it's going to be Autumn.
Oh, I do have to legally kill both to not get exploded. But yeah, let's just go to the meeting for now.
We have to. He wants their heads. I'd much rather take his head.
I vote for all three.
I'm gonna beg the naive question: Why would a non-vampire collude with vampires?
Money.
Some people want to be vampires.
Which is the non? Oh, Autumn, you mean?
Yeah, Autumn.
True.
Why would he collude with a vampire coven?
Maybe he thinks he's gonna become one. I don't know. People do stupid things for stupider reasons, but we don't have to start chopping heads off. I think Havelock is working. It can work with us.
Can you vouch for Havelock? Would you be willing to vouch for Havelock?
After fighting with him back there, I definitely can vouch that he is not with the vampires that attacked us.
Let's just go to the meeting.
No.
Yeah, Either way, let's go speak to him. And that.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm going to send a message back with a runner for Swan.
Mm-hmm.
Just in like a coded message, so just in case.
Mm-hmm.
It's saying we're going to meet Havelock. My money's on Autumn.
Okay. Alrighty. So you head on over to meet Havelock, which is pretty cool. Like you're on your way. So Havelock's estate is a palatial estate. It's very nice. It is in the suburbs. I'm assuming you've all played Red Dead 2. So
Yeah.
No.
think of So the main city there is called Saint Denis, and there are plantation places around there. It's kind of like that. So it's like a Victorian estate, not quite in the countryside, but it's definitely in the suburbs, heading out of the city. It's a very nice place. But anyway, your carriage, you get one laid on for you by the Blackcoats. Are you guys gearing up before you go?
I'm not going unarmed. I'm not bringing a chain gun. I'd probably, since I have the nice holster for my
The Eagle.
gunblade, I'll probably bring that because it's clearly a weapon, but it's hard to see exactly what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And then he's got his gauntlets, a dagger, and probably his guitars.
Okay, Dennis, what are you bringing with you?
Same as usual, the chains and some swords.
Are you going? I take it you're. You guys are. You can wear the black if you want.
Nah.
I was thinking it'd be more appropriate to wear the black at this point, since we can use a cover as we're officially investigating the incident.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that makes sense.
So no masks, but.
I would wear
I mean,
masks.
if we're wearing the
No.
black, we're wearing masks.
By the way, I didn't do the roll for the sniffing yet. So what should that be actually?
Do perception.
Would that be? Would it be using his devil blood for it?
Yes.
So Devil Blood was also mine, and I need 2 successes first.
But you have some points in devil blood, if I recall.
So that's actually 8. So I roll extra 2 dice.
So nobody's
So
surprised.
that-
You don't
that's
manage to pinpoint him.
I mean, that's just the Devil Blood roll, and I did actually succeed because there is 2 successes.
He's activating his devil blood.
Yeah, so now that
Before
would
he
be
turns.
96.
Okay. Need at least 6 sixes.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
We ain't found shit.
Okay, so let's go visit Havelock.
Alright, so you guys are wearing the black and you're wearing your masks. And as you get out the carriage, a few butlers are there to meet you and take you inside. The sun is going down behind the Havelock estate. It is a beautiful palace, essentially. It's a gorgeous place. And as you're brought in, you do see the words of House Havelock are above the door frame of the nice and subtle, as many vampire clans like to be, not. But it is something that you've heard before. And it says, there we go. Oops. Let's copy that. Put it over here. And it is, he who holds the sword chooses who holds the pen. There is above the door as you come in. So, Havelock, if you know anything about vampire clans, they are the more politic of the vampire clans. There are several very large ones that are known throughout the world, Galarian being one of them. That is one of the ruling classes of the Dustfall Empires. But Havelock is very much a Dominion-based vampiric clan. One that many people think has the backing of the Blackcoats as informants and, official toadies, essentially. Because, how could a vampire clan exist this close to the heart of government without the Blackcoats knowing about it. And as you guys know, the Blackcoats do know about the Havelock clan, but they haven't quashed them at any point in time. But you're brought through the hallowed halls of House Havelock and shown to a main back room where Havelock is sitting with a gentleman who is almost as tall as Sangern. He looks pretty well built. And you immediately get the whiff of vampire from this guy. In fact, it's almost radiating off of him. This is what he looks like. It's almost radiating off of him. At this point.
I've seen the picture before.
Yeah. So they're sitting there and they're sharing some wine. It looks like white wine, but with like some droplets of blood in it. And they're Havelock stands up and evens out his moustache, and he sees you, Sangern, and bows very deeply, and says, "Thank you for responding to my summons, and thank you for your help the other evening. That was very brave of you, all of you."
We're not ones to stand by in the face of vampires.
Neither am I, even though I am, one of the breed, so to speak. Just take a seat. I'll have some wine brought in. And he clicks and says, white, red.
I'll go for red.
Sangren's gonna wave it off.
Okay.
While he's handling the wine, would I have enough time to try to sneak in the poison into his wine?
You could certainly try.
Okay, can I roll my vampire thing?
You could. Yes. Okay. Yeah. You
Bear
could.
in mind, you are very conspicuous in front of other people.
You are standing in front of two full vampires, and Sangern.
Sangern, am I of the opinion that you would not allow this to happen?
Right. You can detect the vampires. You could detect. You probably know that. So yeah, without vampire, what would be the roll to hide from everyone? Like I'm not showing this to Sangren and Filberto either. If I kind of hide.
Yeah. Well. So you would have to. I would say it would be sneaking. So you would have to do it on. Let me just get my rules out here. The worst thing about game design is when you need to do your own rules.
Skill.
Let's have a little look here.
I didn't even know there was a sneaking skill.
There is a sneaking skill, yeah.
Sangren has 2 points in sneaking. Not that he's had much chance to use it, but it's there.
Let me just... There we go. Right, let's go down to... Right, skills. So yeah, it would be on... I'm gonna think it would be on swiftness and sneaking would be the two things. I would allow you to make a case for skullduggery, but you need to make the case.
Well, the case for skullduggery would be that I do it in the exact moment that they are discussing the wine choices, so they would to some extent be distracted. I would further distract them by also joining the conversation, talking about, oh, I prefer the red wine. Just
okay. I'm gonna do two things here. Okay, that's a good way. So I'll trade you, right? You can use skullduggery, but Sangern's gonna pick up that it's fucking weird that you're talking about wine because you never talk about shit like that, and he will get to roll to see whether he can figure out what's going on. Essentially, it won't be as powerful as your roll, but you will get a chance to see what's going on.
Okay.
So it'd be swiftness and skullduggery from you, please. I hope you don't mind me doing that, Sangern, but like, yeah.
No, Sangern is at the moment, like he starts acting funny because he knows Dennis has a tendency to be rash.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 successes.
Okay, so, Sangern, you will be on mind, and I'm gonna go with. Let's do perception. Mind and perception.
It's slash roll, right?
Yes, I think so.
I think
Mind
it
and
was
perception.
the scream sign.
Oh, the exclamation point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, damn.
2
So
6s.
equal.
And
I know
So,
because I.
Is it 3
yeah,
to
equal.
2?
No, it's 2 to 2 because two
2 to 2.
He had
successes
a
and a
5
one,
and a
two
6.
Two
successes
to
and a
two.
one.
Right. 2 to 2 is too close to call, so let's roll them again. So, Dennis, roll yours, and then Sangern, roll yours after that.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh.
No successes in either side.
Yep.
Oh my
So
god.
But yeah,
you're both going again.
Oof.
What is happening here?
Yeah, so I
one
get.
success.
So
Two
Dennis, I
successes.
gave you some
Sangren one.
really lethal, like fast-acting poison.
Okay.
No,
So
you said it goes after 2 days.
Ryson infused some Devil Blood, which is a super low. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, quick. So basically, he takes it and he's gone. Essentially.
Yeah,
He's done.
basically, he's dead. It's almost. It's very quick.
And
It's
think
fast-acting poison.
Dennis, the sheer speed at which Filberto made this
Yeah.
kind of filled you with a little bit of unease. Like, it's just like, oh, you need me to kill you? Okay. There you go. Take that. You'll be dead. You'll explode. And that's it. You know. So
You
Sangern,
get more successes in the end.
Sangern, you
Finally.
looking over your wine, you get a strong sense that Dennis is succeeding at the moment in planting something into Havelock's drink. But he's not quite there yet. He's not quite been able to do it, but he's wheedling his way in there. And you know he's talking about shit that he never normally talks about. Something is off. Something is definitely off.
Sandgren will definitely say, kind of take Dennis aside, like put a hand on Dennis' shoulder and kind of wheel him away and say a word.
I mean, if he's not trying to like physically tell Dennis away, then Dennis would just finish pouring it.
He has put a hand on his shoulder to keep you from doing whatever it is you're doing.
Then he would resist with strength.
Okay, all right.
Oh god, we're gonna have a fight.
So,
literally.
Let's do a strength off then. And we won't do it as if like you're both like wrestling, but it'll be like a who backs down first and says, "Well, I don't want to go into a fight here, so I'll leave you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if Sangern's hand is that strong and caught you off guard, you're like, well, I either fight him or I just go with what he's doing.
I just want to overpower his shoulder to get the drink. I don't want to get a fight with him.
So we'll do a straight strength each, and we'll see where we go from there.
Can I use the giant or the brawn?
Well, you can use giant, not brawn, because brawn is like beating somebody up. So use giant.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6, 7.
Oh.
6 to 7, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not winning, and it's basically a stalemate. Dennis, you have a opportunity here. You can either, I'm going to give you a choice. You can either pour the poison, right? In view now that one of the two vampires might notice you because Sangren has come over to accost you, essentially. Or you can back down. It's up to you. But you know that by pouring this poison, it may set off a powder keg in here. Especially
which one of the vampires?
You don't know, because your eyes are on Sangren right now. He's not a small presence when he's standing right next to you.
Fair enough. So I'm gonna finish pouring the poison then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you pour it in, and Sangren, what is your reaction to that? You just
like is the glass in someone's hand?
it's in someone's hand now. Yes, it's in Havelock's hand right now. But he's just sitting back. He hasn't taken a drink out of it yet, and the other vampire's looking at Dennis, like yeah, I'm gonna murder the shit out of this guy. Like that. That's sort of a like he's restraining himself, but he's not like you can tell he's not fond of he either knows something's up or he's he's sure of it.
Yeah, and so yeah, I think Sangern is going to just kind of pat Dennis on the shoulder and then just kind of like almost just kind of like he's gonna take the glass from Havelock and say, actually, you know what? I might have
I'm
some
not
wine.
I'm not gonna allow him to take the glass.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
let's
this
not-
is
let's
Sangren
not-
trying to be subtle.
cast a look at Dennis now because that is obvious. I think probably that's very, very telling.
Yeah, it is telling, but I'm not really given a choice at this point.
I mean, at the end of the
Sangren put me on the shoulder, so I'm gonna, at this point, I guess, play it off as, okay, you want to talk to me something? Let's go talk and you can deal with the wine later, but...
my opinion is that the minute, Dennis, you react by making sure that wine glass stays in his hand, the cover's blown. Because they're like, well, why are you... Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not brainless people. They're going to be like, well, why are you trying to make sure I'm drinking this wine? So you either need to go with the flow and let Sangren do what he's doing, or get Sangren away from where he's about to get the wine glass out of this guy's hand.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan, to drag him away. He had his hand on my shoulder, so that does seem sensible.
I patted you on the shoulder with that one.
Sangren,
that's kind of like
you're getting a strong sense of, shall we say, power from both of the vampires in this room. You find it hard to believe that they don't know what's in that glass, just by sheer smell alone. You find it very, very, very hard to believe that they don't know what's in it. So, it's up to you. You can either take the risk and allow him to maybe drink from it, or you can rely on the fact that, you know, these two vampires are a lot older than I am, and they're probably not stupid. So,
I'm gonna take a look at them, at both of them, Havelock specifically, since he and I have had a rapport in the past, and see if I think he's in danger.
Also,
Sangren does not want this to happen.
naive question: would I be able to smell the poison?
Yes.
So I'd know exactly. The specific poison I handed.
You're probably regretting giving Dennis any sort of things to kill people. But that's but the new vampire and Havelock are looking at each other as if, like, the new vampire's looking at him as if you can almost read their look of, really? Did he just try it? Did he just do that without? And did he really think?
What wine did he have in his hand? And I would have assumed that I would have one in my hand.
Well, Havelock's got white, but with blood in it. So,
gotcha.
If they look like they're,
I would start sniffing. I would just start sniffing and saying, "I'm just smelling my glass as if something's a bit off."
Oh, I see. So, vintage is a bit off.
Yeah, I'd just say this seems a bit off. I don't know about you. I'll just say that to Havelock and say, this vintage seems a bit off, doesn't it? It smells a bit like castor beans.
At this point, Sangren is going to,
funny that castor beans is what ricin is made from.
I know.
Yeah, Sangren's taking a step back, and because he's assuming at this point the situation is resolved.
It smells a bit like cyanide.
Yeah,
it's just like, fuck's sake. All right. So Havelock just looks at you, Dennis, and just says, Phil Burton says, yes, indeed, and he like sets the glass down, and he says, Shall we discuss what we're here to discuss?
Yes.
So he allows you all to sit down, and before you he just crosses his leg and just it says, I do have an ulterior motive for this meeting.
As do we.
Since you've already tried to poison me, I would ask that you reveal your ulterior motive first, considering you're sitting in my home, into which I invited you with complete transparency and guarantee of safety as well.
I'm personally here to murder you.
Thank you very much. Why is that?
Sangren is massaging his temple in a standard Dennis-inspired headache maneuver.
Because otherwise this nation will be destroyed, yada yada.
He just looks to the other vampire, who just shrugs.
And I'm just going to say bioterrorism. virus, lethal stuff. Really, really nasty.
Okay, shall we just say that you fill him in?
I'll fill him in. But I'll fill him in. I'll just say that. I'll just say really, really lethal stuff.
Okay.
Sangren will
Really
say
nasty.
there is somebody here who has somebody has come that is distributing a virus and has claimed the only way we're gonna get the antidote is through yours and Autumn's heads.
He nods and says, yeah, that sounds like... He just rolls his shoulders and says, I think it's time I introduced you to my esteemed guest. He says, this is the head of Clan Nocturne, and just gestures over to the other vampire. So you have what you know of Clan Nocturne, especially Sangern, but Dennis too. And to be fair, probably Filberto with being Chamber Vigilant, is that they are one of the most feared and independent clans of vampires in the known world. They're basically shadowmancers, so they're able to manipulate shadow and appear in shadow whenever they want, essentially. The more powerful versions. They can transport you to a shadow realm and devour you very, very slowly over the course of several years.
Glorious.
Yeah, they are not to be fucked with. In fact, even in Duskfall, they're kind of shunned and no one really likes them. Which is why they're mainly independent. They join mercenary bands, they run around doing their own thing. But the head of Clan Nocturne is this man here. And Havelock says, this is Lucius Nocturne. And Lucius nods. And he comes up straight away and says it. He just looks you straight in the eye, Sangern, and says, and you are my son.
Sangern will take a moment, pause, and literally, after a moment of pausing and staring at him, just wave it off.
I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to look at Sangern and be like, what?
Sangern will literally just wave it off if you say so.
There certainly is a resemblance.
He takes a piece of paper out from his coat pocket and opens up and slides it across the table to you. And I'm guessing you read it rather than just...
He'll read it, but, very blasé. He's so far removed from his vampire family that this is, while it's a shock, and he's going to have a fucking talk with Arthik later, he doesn't feel beholden to his family in any way.
Okay, so the reason why you're not a pure-blooded vampire, are you? You're a nightkin, essentially. You're someone who is born... of vampire parents, but not somebody who was turned into a vampire, essentially. Yes. But this is the last will and testament of Lucius Nocturne, bequeathing all of his lands and titles to his only begotten son, Samael Lucan Nocturne. So that is as you should think, that is probably your real name, if you're... So, Samael
It's
Lucan
probably something
Nocturne.
he's been told by Arthik at some point.
I don't think so, because at the bottom of this, so it basically names you as his sole heir, as in the next head of Clan Nocturne. At the bottom, there are two co-signers. There is Lucius. No, there's three. There's Lucius, there's Havelock, and there's Swan. And under Swan's title and under the deed, it is Beholder, Protector, and Adjudicator of the will, essentially. Because he's the only human amongst, the parties present. And so, Lucius leans back and says, when you were very young, I gave you up to the Blackcoats. You were living on the streets for a good while, but I was always looking out for you. I was always watching to make sure you weren't getting into too much trouble. I allowed you to join the Blackcoats to keep you safe, and Swan assured me that you'd be taken care of. I'm coming to you now because my sister, Ilaria, is a vampire of much more considerable power and reach than I ever was. She did, and I think likely does, lead a huge coven of vampires who seek to take control of Duskfall through bringing down the main trading interests of the Dominion itself, i.e., the Faerite trade. I was led to believe, I was told, that she died in the Driftwood some months ago. But I will sense when my sister is gone, and I have some sense that she is still alive. She lingers, perhaps in spirit, but I feel her hand guiding things here. Have you felt anything untoward? A presence, perhaps?
At this point, Sangern has actually, taken a glass of something, and is taken off his mask, because at this point, there's no point.
Yeah.
And is having a drink, and it's like, I think I've already met my dear aunt.
He nods and says, I was led to believe that you three were also in the drift.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. Well, I'm very sorry that you had to go through that. He shrugs and says, regardless, it was the natural outcome, and perhaps it was more fitting that you or your friends were able to bring her to justice in the end.
Why are you really here? I'm going to gesture towards the will.
Yeah.
You're not dying.
I am, actually.
Sangren was kind of gearing up for a rant, and then he just kind of just stops mid-gesture.
I've come to set my affairs in order. I will last perhaps maybe a few more years. It has been a hard several centuries, to say the least. But yeah, it won't be long now. For me, I feel my powers diminishing. I feel my reflexes slowing. I'm coming towards the end. There'll come a time now where I can no longer feed, and when that time comes, and I will walk into the Driftwood, and I will try to find what all vampires do at the end of their lives, wherever is calling us out there. It is a natural part of life, or unlife, as the case may be. But I am setting my affairs in order, and I would like the Dominion not to fall into absolute chaos before you get a chance to finish the work that I started. Lord Havelock here has assured me that you are capable, and not only that, you've saved his life on more than one occasion.
I'll cough at Dennis at that point.
Yeah, it's a debt that needs to be paid for the Dominion's sake.
Yeah.
Sangren's going to
Well,
put
you
up
look
a
at
hand towards
Havelock.
the two of you. It's like,
I
that
hope
is
you
separate.
you understand the situation and are willing to volunteer yourself for that.
Well,
Sangren just kind of puts a hand up between you guys. Just like, one thing at a time.
Havelock nods and says, if that is the price I must pay, then I will pay it. But at least give me the opportunity to know that Felix Autumn does not profit by my death. And I will know that when I have Felix Autumn's head upon my desk.
Fair enough.
And
We're gonna go visit him next to get some payment. No, that's a yes. We're gonna. I guess you the other two agree here. We're gonna go get the payment from him next, so we can off him then.
Yeah.
And bring the head here, and then we're gonna get you. And then the whole situation will be nicely resolved.
Still, why can't we try to find this Daedalus Mal?
We can. He's gonna be the third one whose head's gonna be rolling.
Yeah. But we find Daedalus Mal beforehand, perhaps.
If we find him first, then we can resolve this a lot cleaner.
Yes.
Now,
Unless he can trigger the viral bomb to go off quicker.
I don't think that's how that works.
Who knows how it works?
is it? It's not like an actual bomb, right?
no. It's a disease that will essentially erupt in 3 days.
Yeah.
From
it's incubating right now.
From pores and breath and saliva and all
Right.
sorts.
Wait, we just learned about the Shadow Realm. I'm gonna turn to the Nocturne guy. We do know about the Shadow Realm, right?
And?
Like, I'm gonna ask him, so what's the thing with the Shadow Realm? How does it work?
It is a temporal place, not hell, not... It's somewhere else.
Well,
Essentially, every one of us has a pocket dimension all to ourselves. Think of it like an elevator from which there is one door in and out, and that door is controlled by the vampire in question.
well, if you put someone in there, can you take them out?
Not alive, no.
That's a bummer.
If you put a vampire in there, could they survive?
Again, not alive, no. That is a space of the vampire's own making. I have heard it... Well, I've seen it. When somebody is taken into such a realm, they do not disappear. They simply go into a state of unconsciousness. I believe what we're doing is taking them into our own minds and imprisoning them there as we feed on them, essentially.
Ah, lovely.
Comfortable. Okay, that goes out of the wall then.
Lovely.
One way or another, we need to find Autumn, and we need to find Omal.
Exactly as you say that, an explosion rips apart the floor beneath you and the walls. You are all blasted backwards in a hail of glass and wood and stone that flies all over the place. You all come to, but you all take 7 points of damage each.
Oof.
That bypasses all armor. Just 7 points. Directly 7 points.
I got 13.
Havelock staggers to his feet, and so does Lucius. Lucius gets out what can only be described as a rather long Ranger Sequoia revolver, and starts panning around. Both of them are bleeding quite profusely, and through the smoke on one side where the windows used to be, come what looks like 6 vampires in full armoured robes, and they charge directly into you guys. So, we have Havelock at the back of the room with Lucius in front of him, but I'm going to let you guys decide on who was sitting where. It's up to you.
I mean,
think-
we'd be opposite of them, so that's where I would be opposite.
Yeah.
So explode.
Yeah,
So
you guys are in front of the vampires, but I'm going to let you guys decide which one of you is in front and which one of you, that kind of
I think Sangern would have generally been sat in front.
Yeah.
That's usually how we end up.
Okay. So we
Yeah,
have
I'd have probably
Sangern.
been off on one side.
Okay. So, Sangern, 2 of the vampires are going to attack you. 1 vampire each is going to attack one of your companions. And the third one, is who looks like the leader, is going to try and vault over the combat and into what looks like the main target of the attack, and that's Havelock.
As usual.
So, first vampire, I'm actually going to give the vampires 1 attack on you guys. The main vampire isn't going to get to do that yet, but the first vampires are going to get to attack you guys. So, Sangern first. So we will roll 66. Bang. And okay. I'm not going to say that those are any hits, because the first 3 are 1 person, the second 3 are 1 person. So that's nothing. So we're going to roll 3d6 for Filberto. All right. So there is a hit there. There is a hit there. So this vampire runs in, and they're wearing pure black, which sets you guys off immediately. That's like an insult to you guys, it's not really. But they hurl into you, and this guy makes a slashing movement with his sword that you basically get your hand up to block, essentially. But what is your armor right now?
I think it's 7.
Okay, so after your armor, you will take another 4 damage.
Alright.
Okay, so now we're going into...
Initiative?
Nope, we're going into...
Oh, Dennis.
Dennis? Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Exactly the same thing happens there. So he comes in, slashing. He goes to get his sidearm, but he just manages to slash across your chest and like give you quite a nasty gouge. And yeah, that is another 4 damage after armor. Oh, hang on. How much armor do you have?
I should have 9 with the black coat.
So that's 2.
The Blackcoat and the Favorite.
Yeah, so you get 2 damage after all that. So now we're rolling initiative.
That's speed and mind?
Yes.
Or swiftness and mind?
Yes.
Both swiftness and mind?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think it was.
I thought it was swiftness and perception.
Oh no, it's a dice plus. It's 1 dice plus that. Why am I rolling that? 1d6 plus swiftness and...
2d6 for the 2 groups of 2 vampires.
Okay, how was it? It was 1d6 plus swiftness. Yes?
I thought it was... I'm gonna get back to the rolls. That's been
Let
a
me
minute.
just, let me... Who goes first? So, starting who goes first every combat round by rolling a d6 and adding the result to our swiftness. If you wish to add the to your d6 score, you may take a single stress for each point you wish to add to it in an attempt to go first. We're playing descending order, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, if you want to go first, you can take a load of stress and just go first, if you need to.
I think Sangern will probably take a couple stress.
So
at least tied with Filberto.
So one vampire... The vampires in front of you are on... What are yours right now? 7? Yeah. The vampire in front of you...
Filberto at 9 because I took 2 stress.
The vampire in front of you is on 8, so they're right below you. And the other 2 vampires are on 7, but they will roll off with... No, none of you have 7, so you're alright. Yeah,
no.
You got...
I just took the stress to go above that.
Yep, okay. So, you guys will be going first. So,
Mind if I go first, Filberto?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So Sangren's gonna do. It's gonna be real fucking anime. But he had taken off his mask to drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like in his left hand, he's gonna be putting his mask on while reaching over his head to get his gun blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just come down on the guy in front of him.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm gonna roll 2 attack. I'm gonna do 2 attacks. I'll do the first one. Strength, gunblade. Oh, I've got a lot now. And then it's the stats plus 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 11, 15, 17.
Mm-hmm. Fuck.
That's a lot of hits. And that's the first attack. Because and I'm going to use my rage field to add 2 damage for each of the 7 points of damage I took.
So I like how because we're doing, obviously it's also a playtest. I like how this is working out where the enemies are don't get very many attacks but are very tanky, whereas you guys are basically glass cannons, which is how it should be. You know, you've got to be very careful, but you do a lot of really insane stuff, whereas they, you know. So it evens out that way, where they may do less attacks, but they only need to do 3 or 4, and you might go down, sort of a thing.
I also am going to be firing off a round with each of the 2 attacks I'm doing with this, so I get the extra armor penetration.
Sweet. Okay. So, is this just on one guy?
I'm going to do it at... Well, if this kills the one guy, I'm going to go after the other.
Okay. This is one attack, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you slice him into little goblets, like literally, he just evaporates in a red haze as like bits of him start flying all over the place. There is a sickly stench of barbecued, decaying meat in the air as you're just like hacking into this guy and whirling him away. Your momentum takes you into the other guy, and you may roll your next 17 dice.
That's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Successes.
Yeah, so you like slam the blade, the halberd blade into this guy's head, and then pull the trigger, and the upper half of his body just explodes in a fountain of viscera and gore all over the place.
But these guys are not the beefy ones like the last ones.
No, well they are, but you're at such a power level now that you're essentially very powerful compared to them. So, We're with Filberto now. Oh, who was next? Is it
Yeah,
Filberto?
I was next.
Yeah,
in the
Filberto,
order.
yeah.
Since there's one guy basically melee with me, I'm gonna get a flask of acid and throw it in his face.
Okay, sweet. I'm gonna let you mind that because
Sure.
you know you're using perception just to hurl it at him. Try and get.
Well, it's more like I'm just doing a short like shove with the empty bottle sort of thing directly to the face. Well, fuck.
Fucking shove the cork in his mouth and then punch the bottle.
Well, it's not that. It was literally just open the flask and throw it.
Well, you only need 4s, right?
Yeah.
No, 1, 2,
Yeah, 1, 2,
3, 4.
3,
Yeah,
4,
that's
5.
fine. That's fine. Yeah, so you like hurl it in this guy's face, and he staggers backwards, like just like clawing on his face, like trying to get it off. And so he's pretty susceptible to your next attack if you want to actually. He's not going to get to defend himself at all, if anything.
Yeah, I'll shoot him in the head with a rifle.
He's gonna, yeah.
I'm just gonna execute him.
Okay.
Up.
Yep, cool. So you shove the barrel underneath his chin, just pull the trigger, and his head just explodes. His brains explode at the
like
back
a
of his
Pez
head.
dispenser.
And a whole several. Oh, I guess the ceiling is long gone.
The ceiling's long gone. Yeah, if it was there, there'd be a rather nasty gash in the stucco that's up there.
Well,
As
it'd
it
be more
stands,
likely to
there's a rather
penetrate
nasty
through that
bomb-sized
and up
gash.
into the roof.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least.
So yeah, parts of his brain are now sailing up into the night sky, away from everyone else. Dennis, what was your
Just a 3.
Just
Not
a 3?
much. I'm
Oh
going
shit!
last, probably.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah. So the vampires
Well,
are going to get to.
don't you? Oh.
The
Are you
vampires
like
are going
two
to strike back. There is now none around you. Well, there's one around Dennis, but we'll go with the powerful guys. The powerful guy first. He is going to attack Havelock. So, boom.
That's at most 3 successes.
Yeah, so that's
so
not a
bad
good
for
roll.
him.
That's not a good roll. So Havelock is ducking and diving and trying to get out of this guy. He's got no weapons, so he's just trying to get out of his, out of his reach, and is like jumping backwards and ducking and getting around. And you can see that he's not going to get any attacks in, but Lucius is. So bear in mind, this is a vampire at the very top end of power, but at the end of his life, essentially. So don't be getting too excited by the amount of dices that we go. So yeah, he goes into the back of this guy, and it's almost like the vampire realizes who the apex predator in the room is, and turns his gaze directly to Lucius and says, right, he thinks, right, okay, this is the guy I've got to get rid of. Lucius is like diving out of his way and like literally killing him with bug bites, because this is a big guy. He's just like, slicing a tendon here, a knee there, a throat there, but it's not stopping him. He keeps coming on.
Can Sangren call out?
Sure.
Well, we should keep one alive.
Okay.
And then turn menacingly, and with a menacing glance towards the one that's attacking Dennis.
Okay, so the one who's attacking Dennis will roll 7d6, the normal attack turn now. Right. So that's pretty bitchin' as attacks go. So Dennis, I'm going to give you a chance to roll your attack. Almost like a Grey Knight thing for 40k, where if he goes down, he gets to attack back before he dies, sort of a thing. How much health do you have left?
11.
11.
And he's got nine armor.
Yeah, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8. So you only take 8 damage. Great. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm alive.
So he slams into you and he's trying to gouge into you and rip out your throat. You can't quite get there, but it is now your turn. You now get to attack back against this guy. Or maybe him and someone else. You can kill him in the first turn.
The thing is, I don't want to kill him. Like, this one's the one I wanted to keep alive, but...
We can keep the leader alive.
Yeah, keep the leader. The leader might be more useful.
I mean, why not both? But yeah, sure. So... Yeah, Dennis would probably just try to keep this one alive. That's what he has his chains for.
Mm-hmm.
He would try to...
So
Bring him down.
maybe do strength and brawn. Yeah,
Sure.
strength and brawn.
You're gonna swaddle him with your ferrite chains.
Joe, I'm gonna let you do that.
3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes.
Oh
and
fuck!
So you swing your chains around like a lasso, and then just like wrap them around his fucking body, and he just like falls over sideways, like trying to stretching for his breath, like you can't quite, and you just like you can leave him there. The chains is gonna keep him wrapped up nice and tight. He's going nowhere. But that is only one attack. So what would you like to do with the rest of your turn?
Well, I mean, he's already subdued, so I guess spit on him. Wait, no, I have the second chain.
Yeah.
So I would use my second chain to try to do the exact same thing to the boss guy.
Okay. So you try and do exactly the same roll again then. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So not that good this
Not
time
that good.
around.
I'm gonna let him do a
Still
strength
six
check.
roll. Yeah, it's still 6 rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so yeah, you managed to like knock him off balance, but you don't manage to chain him up. But you managed to knock him off balance there.
Is it back up to the top then?
Yes, we are rolling again for initiative, and then we'll.
Ah,
go
yes. Yes.
Roll d6 for my only vampire that is left. Ooh.
Wasn't that all of them?
Well.
Right, so he is on 6 plus 13.
That's
Okay.
13.
I'm
you-
going to spend 2 points of stress to go up.
Okay. Yep.
So
Anyone else doing that, or you leave it as is?
I think between him being put off balance, I think Sangren is still has to step over all the bodies, so he's probably gonna, take a moment to react.
Okay.
So, no.
So, Vampire and Filberto will roll off.
is it just 1d6?
1d6.
Oh, so
Fucking
close.
hell.
So, he goes first. So, as Lucius steps in to attack him, he steps to the side and tries to attack him back. And, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, yeah. So, he hammers into Lucius, like literally punches. He has like a bladed gauntlet on one of his, that just comes out of one of his right hand, and punches it straight through his stomach, and then kicks him off into the wall. And Lucius just goes down onto the floor like limp. And he turns around and tries to attack Havelock as well. But Filberto, you'll get to do your attack here.
Right. We've got one. We've got. Is it just a regular vampire or the vampire leader?
This is the vampire leader who is.
I'm gonna try to knock him out with a sleep dart,
Okay.
seeing him as a more important target.
Mm-hmm.
With several sleep darts.
Yeah, I'll just keep. I'll put horse tranquilizer into him. The stuff that will knock out something much larger than him, or elephant tranquilizer. That was it.
The strongest shit you got.
Yeah, strongest tranquilizer.
The vampire rated tranquilizers.
Okay.
It's not bad. Not bad.
So 4 darts go slamming into his back. And he goes, oh, and like nearly, it doesn't go down, but he's slowing. He is slowing.
You get a sec. Does Filbert get a second attack?
I think so.
All right. I'll do the same. I just want to tranquilize that fucker.
Okay.
Leap time is now.
Yeah.
So
It's nap
more
time.
darts go slamming into his back and force him forwards. He hasn't done his second attack yet, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to take some of his attacks away from him, which you have done.
Yeah.
And so now he's only going to get 12 against Havelock. So he comes up to Havelock. Oh dear.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
Yes.
So, he gets his gauntlet and just rams it through Havelock's head, just like punches straight through the back of his skull, and then just boots him off, and then turns round to you all, and literally, you can see he turns round to Lucius, laughs, and says, "The king is dead." And the shadows in the corners of the room envelop this massive vampiric figure. And when the shadows recede again, he's gone. He's just completely gone. The house is starting to burn, and servants are running out the front door. You can see that Lucius looks like he's still alive, but not long for this world. And obviously Havelock is, dead.
Yeah.
But you have the one vampire with you, so are you dragging him out with you?
Yeah,
Can I
Sangren's
take
gonna grab
Havelock's head?
Lucius.
You're going to grab Lucius, Sangen, okay. So you got him in like a fireman's carry sort of a thing?
Yeah.
Getting
Can
him
I
out?
drag the other one behind me?
Yeah, sure. It's not very... For a guy your size, it's pretty easy. You can just drag him along.
Yeah. Where was Havelock's body?
Slumped against
wall.
the far wall. But like...
I am still gonna drag it. I am still gonna drag him out.
Yeah, I will say he's not retrievable life-wise.
Oh, there's literally no head left. Sort of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then I'll
Take the head
abandon.
at least, or is the head completely destroyed?
Well, he was punched through his head by a bladed gauntlet.
Oh,
so,
I see. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Can I cut off like an arm to prove his identity in case I need to prove he's dead?
Well, I'm guessing, the Blackwater Syndicate will know of his death. They're not just gonna,
Okay, fair.
Yeah, it
fair
was a
enough.
figure of speech, you know what I mean? You don't need to be like going over there with it.
Like
Just gonna pick up then the vampire that's chained up nice and cozy.
Sangren was dragging him behind.
Yeah. So you guys get out and
Would Havelock have had a signet ring or something like a marking
Yeah,
status?
yeah, he would have.
I'll take that for evidence.
Okay.
We might need that for various reasons.
Sangren is, as we're heading out, gonna ask Dennis. Dennis, can you get to message the Blackcoats to meet us with blood for this one? And is gonna head directly to. Basically, he's gonna take one of the sewer entrances and get back to their base.
Okay. So, before you guys do that, okay, as you walk out of the house, you see coming up the road. It's now nighttime, but coming up the road there are several pitch black carriages. At the head of one of them, you can see Swan, who they're barreling up towards the Havelock estate because they've obviously either seen the smoke or something else is going on. They pull up and Swan jumps down with several Blackcoats running up behind him, and he says, "The whole city is in uproar. There's vampires everywhere attacking our safe houses. We saw the smoke. We got here as quickly as we could."
Sangren's just gonna step up. Havelock's dead. Lucius needs blood, or Lucius needs blood.
He nods and says,
And we have some talking to do.
So
like as like Swan starts to turn away, like Sangren's a little pissed.
Okay, he says, we'll talk at your new lodgings. Bring Lucius there. I'll make sure he's seen to.
Sangren's gonna this is gonna be really, really strange for everyone else because Sangren's always like etiquette everything. Sangren just brushes past, still dragging the other vampire.
Okay, yeah.
This is the first time Sangren's ever been brusque towards a superior.
Okay. And that's where we'll leave it this time around. We'll leave it there, and we'll reconvene next time. With the city going to shit, with vampires attacking from all sides. They have succeeded in assassinating who they were supposed to assassinate, supposedly.
The king, so to speak.
If that's who he meant.
I mean, one of these two.
Remember what powers he was using to get away.
True.
So, maybe, who is the head of Clan Nocturne? So, he might have meant Havelock, you never know. But anyway... Yeah, we'll leave it there for this time, and then next time will be... I can tell you now, it'll be the Season 2 finale, where we're going to see what in the hell is going to happen now that everything's been set up, all of the schemes and everything has been set into motion, and we're now going to see how this house of cards is going to come falling down. So, we'll do it next week, or this week actually. It's Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what my schedule looks like this weekend, but I will let you know as soon as I know.
Yeah, I'm pretty good, so you can. Yeah, I can go whenever.
I mean, probably Friday would be my best if we can do that, because I think I might be working Sunday, and we've been trying to do hikes every week, so that would be end up on Saturday. So if you guys could do Friday,
Yeah, Friday is great for me.
Yeah, I can't see why Friday would be an issue at the moment. Sunday is an issue because I've got my parents coming up. I'm technically having my 18-month delayed graduation on next Monday.
Oh, sweet.
Well, congrats. 18 months delayed.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, congrats on that. Good way to end it on. I think we all got some really cool shit in there, which I really liked. That was a good session. But well done, guys. Well role played as always. I'll speak to you next time.
All right, bye.
Dennis and Sanger are going to have a moment, but Dennis got his way anyways.
Yeah. Eventually.
Dennis always seems to get his way in the end. He wanted to prove the train robbery was a bad idea. We got attacked by a dragon.
Yeah.
He wanted to prove we shouldn't stay in Tombstone.
He's seeing the future.
And to be fair, I did take half of that guy's attacks away, and he still killed him. So you know, I mean, I tried.
You rolled really well.
Yeah, I tried. I tried to keep him alive.
It happens.
I tried to keep him alive.
I mean, it wasn't quite as definitive as the dice killing Alistar.
No. I mean, the game decided it was Havelock's time to go, I guess. So
yes.
Anyway, I'll speak to you guys next time. Have a good one.
Yep. Later.
Bye now. Bye.
Later, guys.
So there you go. That is session 9 of 10 in Blackcoat Season 2 in the books. Next time we'll be going over, session 10. This will be the season finale next time. So tune in for that one. Love you all long time, and I'll see you later. Have a good one.